Chapter 10, Biotechnology and its Applications. Biotechnology, as you would have learned from this previous chapter, essentially deals with industrial scale production of biopharmaceuticals and biologicals using genetically modified microbes, fungi, plants, and animals. The application of biotechnology include therapeutics, diagnostic, genetically modified crops for agriculture, processed food, bioremediation, waste treatment, etc. Waste treatment and energy production. Three critical research areas of biotechnology are providing the best catalyst in the form of improved organism, usually a microbe or pure enzyme, creating optimal condition through engineering for a catalyst to act, and downstream processing technologies to purify the protein organic compounds. Let us now learn how human beings have used biotechnology to improve the quality of human life, especially in the field of food production and health. Biotechnology and applications in agriculture. Let us take a look at the three options that can be thought for increasing food production: agrochemical based agriculture, organic agriculture, and genetically engineered crop based agriculture. The Green Revolution succeeded in tripling the food supply, but yet it was not enough to feed the growing human population. Increased yields have partly been due to the use of improved crop varieties, but mainly due to the use of better management practices and use of agrochemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides. However, for farmers in the developing world, agrochemicals are often too expensive and further increases in yields. With existing varieties are not possible using conventional breeding, as traditional breeding technique failed to keep pace with demand and to provide sufficiently fast and efficient system for crop improvement. Another technology called tissue culture got developed. What does tissue culture mean? It was learned by scientists during 1950s that whole plants could be regenerated from explants. Any part of a plant taken out and grown in the test tube under sterile conditions in a special nutrient medium. This capacity to generate a whole plant from any cell explant is called totipotency. You will learn how to accomplish this in higher classes. It is important to stress here that the nutrient medium must provide a carbon source such as sucrose and also inorganic salts, vitamins, amino acids, and growth regulators like auxins, cytokines, etc. By application of these methods, it is possible to achieve propagation of a large number of plants in very short duration. This method of producing thousands of plants through tissue culture is called micropropagation. Each of these plants will be genetically identical to the original plant from which were grown. They are somaclones. Many important food plants like tomato, banana, apple, etc. have been produced on commercial scale using this method. Try to visit a tissue culture laboratory with your teacher to better understand and appreciate the process. Another important application of the method is the recovery of a healthy plant from diseased plants. Even if the plant is infected with a virus, the meristem apical and axillary is free of virus. Hence, one can remove the meristem and grow it in vitro to obtain virus-free plants. Scientists have succeeded in culturing meristems of banana, sugarcane, potato, etc. Scientists have even isolated single cells from plants, and after digesting their cell walls have been able to isolate naked protoplasts surrounded by plasma membranes. Isolated protoplasts from two different varieties of plant, each having a desirable character, can be fused to get hybrid protoplasts, which can be further grown to form a new plant. These hybrids are called somatic hybrid, while the process is called somatic hybridization. Imagine a situation when a protoplast of a tomato is fused with that of potato, and then they are grown to form new hybrid plants combining tomato and potato characteristics. Well, this has been achieved, resulting in the formation of a tomato. Unfortunately, this plant did not have all the desired combination of the characteristics for its commercial utilization. Is there any alternative path that our understanding of genetics can show so that farmer may obtain maximum yield from their fields? Is there a way to minimize the use of fertilizers and chemicals so that their harmful effects on the environment are reduced? Use of genetically modified crops is a possible solution. Plants, bacteria, and fungi and animals whose genes have been altered by manipulation are called genetically modified organisms, GMO. GM plants have been useful in many ways. Genetic modification has first made crops more tolerant to abiotic stresses, cold, drought, salt, heat. Second, reduce reliance on chemical pesticide, pest resistant crops. Third, help to reduce post-harvest losses. Fourth, increased efficiency of mineral uses by plants. This prevents early exhaustion of fertility of soil. Fifth, enhanced nutritional value of food. Example, golden rice, vitamin A, enriched rice. In addition to these uses, GM has been used to create tailor-made plants to supply alternative resources to industries in the form of starches, fuels, and pharmaceuticals. Some of the applications of biotechnology in agriculture that you will study in detail are the production of pest-resistant plants, which could decrease the amount of pesticide used. Bt toxin is produced by a bacterium called Bacillus thuringiensis. Bt for short. Bt toxin gene has been cloned from the bacteria and been expressed in plants to provide resistance to insect without the need for insecticides. In effect, created a biopesticide. Example are Bt cotton, Bt corn, rice, tomato, potato, and soybean, etc. Bt cotton, some strains of Bacillus thuringiensis produce proteins that kill certain insects such as lepidopterans, tobacco, birdworm, any armyworm, cleopterans, beetles, and dipterans, flies, mosquitoes. B. thuringiensis forms protein crystal during a particular phase of their growth. This crystal contain a toxic insecticidal protein. Why does this toxin not kill the bacillus? Actually, the Bt toxin protein exists as the inactive prototoxins, but once an insect ingests the inactive toxin, it is converted into an active form of toxin due to the alkaline pH of the gut, which solubilize the crystal. The activated toxin binds to the surface of midgut epithelial cells and create pores that cause cell swelling and lysis and eventually cause death of insect. Specific Bt toxin genes were isolated from Bacillus thuringiensis and incorporated into the several crop plants such as cotton. The choices of genes depends upon the crop and the targeted pest, as most Bt toxins are insect group specific. The toxins is coded by gene CRY1AC named CRY. There are a number of them. For example, the proteins encoded by the genes CRY1AC and CRY2AB control the cotton bollworm, that of CRY1AB control corn borer. Pest resistant plant. Several nematodes parasites a wide variety of plants and animals, including human beings. A nematode Melinio digini incognita infects the roots of the tobacco plants and causes a great reduction in yield. A novel strategy was adopted to prevent this infestation, which was based on the process of RNA interference. RNAi take place in all eukaryotic organisms as a mention of cellular defenses. This method involves silencing of a specific mRNA due to complementary double-stranded RNA molecule that binds to prevent translation of the mRNA. Silencing the source of this complementary RNA could be form an infection by viruses having RNA genomes or mobile genetic elements, transposons that replicate via an RNA intermediate. Using agrobacterium vectors, nematode specific genes were introduced into the host plant. The introduction of DNA was such that it produced both sense and antisense RNA in the host cells. These two RNAs being complementary to each other formed a double-stranded RNA that initiated RNAi and thus silenced the specific mRNA of the nematode. The consequence was that the parasite could not survive in a transgenic host expressing specific interfering RNA. The transgenic plant therefore got itself protected from the parasite. 10.2 Biotechnological applications in medicine. The recombinant DNA technology process have made immense impact in the area of healthcare by enabling mass production of safe and more effective therapeutic drugs. Further, the recombinant therapeutics do not induce unwanted immunological responses as is common in case of similar products isolated from non-human sources. At present, about 30 recombinant therapeutics have been approved for human use the world over. In India, 12 of these are presently being marketed. Genetically engineered insulin. Management of adult onset diabetes is possible by taking insulin at regular time intervals. What would a diabetic patient do if enough human insulin was not available? If you discuss this, you would soon realize that one would have to isolate and use insulin from other animals. Would the insulin isolated from other animals be just as effective as that secreted by the human body itself? And would it not elicit an human response in the human body? Now imagine if a bacterium were available that could make the human insulin, suddenly the whole process becomes so simple. You can easily grow a large quantity of the bacteria and make as much insulin as you need. Think about whether the insulin can be orally administered to diabetic people or not. Why? Insulin used for diabetes was earlier extracted from pancreas of slaughtered cattle and pigs. Insulin from an animal source to cause some patients to develop allergy or other type of reaction to the foreign protein. Insulin consists of a two short polypeptide chains, chain A and chain B, that are linked together by disulfide bridges. Figure 10.3. In mammals, including human, insulin is synthesized as a prohormone. As a prohormone, like a proenzyme. That prohormone also needs to be processed before it becomes a fully mature and functional hormone, which contains an extra stretch called the C peptide. This C peptide is not present in the mature insulin and is removed during the maturation into insulin. The main challenge for production of insulin using rDNA technique was getting insulin assembled into a mature form. In 1983, Eli Lilly, an American company, prepared two DNA sequences corresponding to A and B chains of human insulin and introduced them in plasmid of E. coli to produce insulin chains. A and B were produced separately, extracted and combined by creating disulfide bonds to form human insulin. Gene therapy. If a person is born with a hereditary disease, can a corrective therapy be taken for such a disease? Gene therapy is an attempt to do this. Gene therapy is a collection of methods that allows the correction of a gene defect that has been diagnosed in a child embryo. Here, genes are inserted into a person's cells and tissue to treat a disease. Correction of genetic defect involves the delivery of a normal gene into the individual or embryo to take over the functional of and compensate for the non-functional gene. The first clinical gene therapy was given in 1990 to a 4-year-old girl with adenosine deaminase ADA deficiency. This enzyme is crucial for the immune system to function. The disorder is caused due to the deletion of the gene for adenosine deaminase. In some children, ADA deficiency can be cured by bone marrow transplantation. In others, it can be treated by enzyme replacement therapy, in which functional ADA is given to the patient by injection. But the problem with both of these approaches is that they are not completely curative. As a first step towards gene therapy, lymphocytes from the blood of the patient are grown in a culture outside the body. A functional ADA cDNA using retroviral vector is then introduced into these lymphocytes, which are subsequently returned to the patient. However, these cells are not immortal, the patient requires periodic infusions of such genetically engineered lymphocytes. However, if the gene isolates from marrow cells, producing ADA is introduced into the cells at early embryo stages, it could be a permanent cure. Molecular diagnosis. You know that for effective treatment of a disease, early diagnosis and understanding its pathophysiology is very important. Using conventional method of diagnosis, serum and urine analysis, etc., early detection is not possible. Recombinant DNA technology, polymerase chain reaction (PCR), and enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay (ELISA) are some of the techniques that serves the purpose of the early diagnosis. Presence of a pathogen, bacteria, viruses, etc., is normally suspected only when the pathogen has a produced a disease symptom. By this time, the concentration of a pathogen is already very high in the body. However, very low concentration of a bacteria or virus at a time when the symptoms of the diseases are not yet visible can be detected by amplification of their nucleic acid by PCR. Can you explain how PCR can detect very low amounts of DNA? PCR is now routinely used to detect HIV in suspected AIDS patient. It is being used to detect mutations in genes in suspected cancer patients too. It is powerful technique to identify many other genetic disorders. A single stranded DNA or RNA tagged with a radioactive molecule probe is allowed to hybridize to its complementary DNA in a clone of cells, followed by detection using autoradiography. The clone having the mutated gene will hence not appear on the photographic film because the probe will not have complementary with the mutated gene. ELISA is based on the principle of antigen-antibody interaction. Infection by pathogen can be detected by the presence of antigens, proteins, glycoproteins, etc., or by detecting the antibodies synthesized against the pathogen. Transgenic animals. Animals that have had their DNA manipulated to possess and express an extra foreign gene are known as transgenic animals. Transgenic rats, rabbits, pigs, sheep, cows, and fish have been produced. Although over 95% of all existing transgenic animals are mice. Why are these animals being produced? How can benefit from such modifications? Let us try and explore some of the common reasons. Normal physiology and development. Transgenic animals can be specifically designed to allow the study of how genes are regulated and how they affect the normal function of the body and its development. Example, study of complex factor involved in growth such as insulin like growth factor. By introducing gene from other species that alter the formation of this factor and studying the biologically effects that result, information is obtained about the biological role of the factor in the body. Study of disease. Many translating animals are designed to increase our understanding of how genes contribute to development of disease. These are specifically made to serve as models for humans disease so that investigation of new treatment for the disease is made possible. Today, transgenic models exist for many human diseases such as cancer, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, and Alzheimer's. Biology Biological products. Medicines required to treat certain human diseases can contain biological products, but such products are often expensive to make. Transgenic animals that produce useful biological products can be created by the introduction of the portion of a DNA or genes which codes for a particular product such as human protein alpha 1 antitrypsin used to treat emphysema. Similar attempts are being made for treatment of phenylketonuria PKU and cystic fibrosis. In 1997, the first transgenic cow, Rosie, produced human protein enriched milk 2.4 gram per liter. The milk contained the human alpha lactalbumin was nutritionally a more balanced product for human babies than natural cow. Vaccine safety. Transgenic mice are being developed for use in testing the safety of vaccines before they are used on humans. Transgenic mice are being used to test the safety of the polio vaccine. It's successful and found to be reliable. They could replace the use of monkeys to test safety of batches of vaccine. Chemical safety testing. This is known as toxicity safety testing. The procedure is the same as that used for testing toxicity of drugs. Transgenic animals are made that carry genes which make them more sensitive to toxic substances. That non-transgenic animals they are then exposed to the toxic substances and the effects studied toxicity testing in such animals will allow us to obtain results in less time. Ethical issues. The manipulation of living organism by the human race cannot go on any further without regulation. Some ethical standards are required to evaluate the morality of all human activity that might help or harm living organisms. Going beyond the morality of such issues, the biological significance of such things is also important. Genetic modification of organisms can have unpredictable results when such organisms are introduced into the ecosystem. Therefore, the Indian government has set up organizations such as GEAC Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, which will make decisions regarding the validity of GM research and in the safety of introducing GM organisms for public services. The modification uses of living organisms for public services as food and medicine sources, for example, has also created problems with patents and patents granted for the same. There is a growing public anger that certain companies are being granted patents for products and technologies that make use of genetic material, plants, and other biological resources that have long been identified, developed, and used by farmers and indigenous people of a specific region country. Rice is an important food grain, the presence of which goes back thousands of years in Asia agriculture history. There are an estimated 200 there are estimated 2 lakh variety of rice in India alone. The diversity of rice in India is one of the richest in the world. Basmati rice is distinct for its unique aroma and flavor, and 27 documented varieties of a basmati are grown in India. There is a reference to basmati to ancient text folklore and poetry as it has been grown for centuries. In 1997, an American company got patent rights on basmati rice through the US patents. and Trademark Office. This allowed the company to sell a new variety of a basmati in the US and abroad. This new variety of basmati had actually been derived from Indian farmer varieties. Indian basmati was crossed with semi-dwarf varieties and claimed as an invention or a novelty. The patent extends to functional equivalents, implying that other people selling basmati rice could be restricted by the patent. Several attempts have also been made to patent uses products and processes based on Indian traditional herbal medicines. Example, turmeric, neem. If we are not vigilant and we do not immediately counter this patent application, other countries individual may our encash on our rich legacy, and we may not be able to do anything about it. Biopiracy is the term used to refer the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the countries and the people concerned without compensatory payment. Most of the industrialized nations are rich financially but poor in biodiversity and traditionally knowledge. In contrast, the developing and the underdeveloped world is rich in biodiversity and traditional knowledge related to bioresources. Traditional knowledge related to bioresources can be exploited to develop modern applications and can also be used to save time, effort, and expenditure during their commercialization. There has been growing realization of the injustice, inadequate compensation, and benefit sharing between developed and developing countries. Therefore, some nations are developing laws to prevent such unauthorized exploitation of their bioresources and traditional knowledge. The Indian Parliament has recently cleared the second amendment of the Indian Patent Bill that takes such issues into consideration, including patent terms, emergency provisions, and research and development initiative. Thank you.